Welcome to Grammar, y'all, and thanks for visiting. Today, we're going to go over the definition of what an absolute phrase is. I'm going to give you the definition, I'm going to tell you where it goes in a sentence, and then last, but of course not least, I'm going to tell you how to punctuate an absolute phrase. An absolute phrase is a group of words that modifies an entire sentence and is set off with commas. Now, I don't know about y'all, but when I hear that phrase, a group of words in the definition, I kind of freak out because there are lots of ways words can be grouped together. Well, that's also true for the absolute phrase. Now, I'm going to show you this list of ways that absolute phrases can be constructed, but I need to highlight first, do not share this with your students. This is one of those things that you as the teacher, it'd be good for you to know. Students don't really need to know all of this. So Christensen in 1968 went through a bunch of literature, and these are the ways that he found absolute phrases constructed. That's a lot of ways. We don't need to overwhelm our students like that. So instead of giving them this definition, let's go to the most often used group of words that creates an absolute phrase. And it's super simple, y'all. It's a noun plus an ing, en, or ed verb. Now, some of y'all might be like, but that's also a participle. Well, it is a participle. I mean, it is a noun plus a participle equals absolute phrases, but have you taught your students what a participle is? You probably shouldn't say it's a participle unless they know what a participle is. Always think about what terminology for what reason. So now that we've got a really basic definition for an absolute phrase, let's look at where absolute phrases go in sentences. This is a nice little construction because it can go at the beginning of a sentence, it can go in the middle of a sentence, or it can go at the end of the sentence. And where it's placed in the sentence makes the sentence read differently. So let's look at this absolute phrase, handshaking. When we put it in the middle of the sentence, the action is hidden a little, right? It's not what we want our reader to focus on. Whereas when we begin with the absolute handshaking, that is the first thing our readers are going to see this person doing. When we put it at the end of the sentence, the idea lingers in our mind a little bit more, but it doesn't have the same emphasis as when we put it in the front of the sentence. Now, while we can move absolute phrases to the beginning or the middle or the end, that doesn't mean we always should. We have to read our sentences and think, well, just because it's right, it may not be right now and right here. Look at this third example. We have two pronouns next to each other. One that's working as the subject of our sentence and one that begins our absolute phrase. And it sounds weird. She, her hands trembling, read the verdict. I don't like it. As a reader, it makes me pause too much and get a little confused. Whereas the absolute phrase at the beginning or the end works much better. It's also important to show students that an absolute phrase, while having the noun and the ing, ed, or en verb, can also have other sentence constructions like prepositional phrases or other nouns. Here are a few examples. And finally, the punctuation rule for absolutes. So easy, y'all. Put commas around it. Everywhere, whether it's in the middle, whether it's in the beginning, or whether it's at the end. And that's it. That's absolute phrases. Thanks so much for joining me today. Y'all take care of yourselves. It's a noun plus an ing, ed, or en verb. I think I did that wrong. No. It's a noun plus an id, en, or ed verb. No?
ID verb?
Oh, thank you.